What is good, YouTube community? A-Fizzle here, tuning with y'all on this Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. Hope everyone's having a good one. I did this video yesterday, but I kind of drifted off topic a little bit, so I wanted to redo the video over this morning while I got a little time on my hands. Big ups to is Tay baby. She made a video about this a while back. I feel like she made it recently, but it wasn't recently. So yeah, she made a video about she gets into relationships with the intentions of getting married. And to be honest, I feel the same way. When it comes to hooking up or getting into relationships with women, it's with the intentions of getting married. You know, it's for those intensive purposes. You know, I'm not in my 20s anymore. The whole hooking up with women just to fuck around and just to sleep together and all that. I'm past that stage. You know, been there, done that. You know, in the 30s, you know, I just want something real. You know, as y'all know, I've been saying this for a while now. I told myself when I was in my late 20s, I said once I turn 30, I'm going to see if it's meant for me to be married or not. You know, got to a rough start because right after I turned 30, that's when COVID happened. But once the world started to open up again, we was able to get out more. You know, I really went full force because, like, let's be real, you can't expect to get married if you're just sitting at home all the time watching the world pass you by. You know, wherever is your preference, they're not going to come to your house and be like, here I am, come date me, let's get married. You know, you got to go out there and see what's real. You know, you got to go out there and test your chances. Now, I'm not saying go out there and, you know, go chase people. You know, me personally, when I go out here, you know, I do have a mission, but at the same time, it's not like it's like, okay, I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna go find me a woman. You know, I let it happen gradually because I think that's what people need to do. You know, you should let it happen gradually. You shouldn't go out of your way to try to approach a woman or approach a man, whichever you prefer. You know, because I'm talking to both genders at this point. You know, because I know I do have women who watch my channel as well who are only interested in men. So, but yeah, I wouldn't say go out your way and try to approach people. You know, if you see somebody that's suitable, then yeah, if you want to shoot your shot, then shoot your shot. You know. But me personally, it's like, yeah, I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm not here for the games. I'm not here for the BS. I'm not here for you know, just to have one night stands and all that. Like, if I really wanted a one night stand, if I want a woman who just, you know, just to fuck, you know, that's why they got prostitutes out here. That's why they got hookers. You know, I can go hook up with them and fulfill that fantasy that way. Now, granted, don't get me wrong. When it comes to hooking up with a woman, yes, I do want to fuck. That's obvious. But I'm looking for the whole package. You know, the fuck, get make money. You know, clean up after themselves. You know, if you can cook, that's cool. I think most women out there can cook, but I understand that not every woman can cook. So, and if I find a woman who can't cook, you know, I can't cook either. But, you know, at the same time, you know, we're in this together, so we can learn together. You know, because I have contemplated taking cooking school too. Like I said, I never was taught. It just, you know, that's just my reality. You know, I come from a family full of women. You know, and I roll in the kitchen was get what you need and get out of our way so we can cook this dinner. So I never had the opportunity to learn, but I have contemplated on wanting to learn. That's for sure, you know. And I have contemplated cooking school for real. Like, just kind of, you know, try to, you know, learn how to cook. You know, it's like, granted, you know, restaurants and all that are cool, and I have survived off restaurants and family cookers over the years, but also at the same time, though, restaurants are getting expensive. Like, I went to this one spot the other day. It's almost, you know, one of the entrees is $40 freaking. So it's like, forget this. Like, if I'm gonna spend $40, then I might as well just go to the store and buy the ingredients myself and cook it myself and all that. That just only makes sense. But, you know, yeah, so yeah, I have contemplated doing that at one point. We'll see where that goes. I'm sure there are cooking classes here in Columbus that I could endeavor in and try to learn. So we'll see how that goes. Because there are certain things I would like to try to cook one day. But the point is, when it cook, she don't have to know how to cook or anything, but at least take care of yourself. At least be up on your shit. At least be loyal. That's what That's the type of stuff I've been looking for when it comes to a woman. And I know a lot of guys out there, they just, they just want a fuck buddy. Excuse me. They just want a fuck buddy. And hey, to each his own, that's what you want. That's what you want. I'm not here to knock you for wanting a fuck buddy. I know some of y'all still have those Royal Oats fantasies as if you're still in your early 20s. I just can't do it. I can still do it, and I'm still going to do it for the most part. But at the same time, it's like, hopefully this ain't gonna cut off, but yeah, it's just like I don't want to, I want something real at the same time. It's like, and look, if I don't get married, if it's not meant for me to do so, then I can live with that. But I'm glad that I'm able to get that opportunity. But long story short, because I don't want to drag this on, but long story short, when it comes to being in a relationship, hold on, thought. Yeah, when it comes to being in a relationship, it's for intensive marriage purposes. Like, I'm just trying to see if it's meant to be, because eventually, it would be nice to settle down. The bar scene is cool, going into these other spots are cool. But, sometimes I do sit and ponder, like, am I going to find my soulmate? And, I think a lot of people really date for the wrong reasons. You got people out there who want to date someone because they got a big fat ass wallet or a big fat ass, they funds are through the roof or whatnot. And I don't care if the woman is making $1 million a year. I don't care about that. And I hope the woman I get with can feel the same way. Like, yeah, she's not, trying to go out her way, to try to get in my pockets or whatnot, trying to get my money. Cause I know most women out there, that's what they want to do. Unfortunately, that's the reality we live in, and that kind of ruins dating a little bit. Especially you got simps out there who just give these women the world and don't expect anything in return. And, like I said, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a woman that's going out, if I got to give the whole world to her and then not get anything in return. I'm not doing that. That's what y'all want to do. That's what you guys want to do. Then they have fun with it. Tell me how that goes. So, yeah. Long story short, like I said, when it comes to relationships, I'm in it for intensive marriage purposes. That's how it is. That's how it's going to be. And, if that's what if a woman is not willing to adapt to that program, then there's no point in her being in my life. So, and I'm definitely not finna do, act as if we're friends and stuff, it's supposed to be a relationship. I'm not doing that. Like, either we need to be in a legit relationship and do legit relationship type things while being in a relationship, or you just need to get out of my way and let me be. So yeah, you got too many people out there, at the same time, it's like, they want to do relationship type things, but as friends, or you want to be in a relationship, but you don't want to. I just never understood that logic in a way, like how people could just do relationship type things as friends or act like you're not in a relationship when you are. I just never understood that. I guess that's the world we live in today. But I also value tradition. When it comes, like I said, I value tradition. It's all about, obviously we don't have to live together as we're in a relationship, but I do like to come over to your crib once a blue moon, hang out. But now if we tied a knot, I do hope that we can work together and to find a crib or whatnot, whether it's a house or apartment. I'm not picky towards houses or apartments. I've never really been that way. Living quarters are living quarters. But with that being said, like, if I were to tie the knot, I do want us to live together as a legit relationship. I mean, as a legit couple, a legit married couple. Like, I can't do this whole being married, but you live in this state. No, I feel like we need to live together. Now, I do feel like, we can put that to a test before we get married and see if we can actually withstand live with each other. Because, I guess I can understand why it happens, but, but it's also, practice makes perfect. We can try it out, see if we can withstand living with each other before we tie the knot. That way, if we can't, then maybe that could be the deal breaker. So, yeah. Like I said, I'm a guy of tradition. I don't, I value old school stuff. I don't try to fit in with the new generation and how they operate things, because the way they operate things today is not what I was taught when I was coming up. So anyways, yeah, I think that's going to do it. Like I said, I think I talked long enough. So y'all I'm going to head up out of here. I got some things, I got something to take care of before I go to work. So yeah. Here at A-Fizzle Productions, all fun all the time. If you're not here to have fun, this is not the channel for you, and have a nice day.